we are privileged to have Madam PS. I think that the State Department is one of the new kid on the block, the State Department for Children's Services. And because we are talking also about, looking at children, what are they are eating, it is really an honor to have Madam Karen Ogego. And now we want to give her this opportunity, Madam, to also tell us more around children and nutrition and where you feel we need to go as we move to Vision 2030. Makofi kwa Madam as she comes.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency is the Governor for Bomet and Nandi County. I see the Nandi County governors just left. Honorable members of Parliament who are in this session, the County Assembly members, County Director, Nutritional International, Martha Nyagaya, Director in charge of Social Policy, Dr. Gabi from UNICEF, other development partners that are here, our civil society members, members of the private sector, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So it's my honor to join you this morning on this very important side event where we are talking about investing on children when it comes to matters of nutrition. First of all, I want to commend the organizers of this event, starting with the COG, our development partners, our host, Homa Bay County, for convening this dialogue, the one that goes to the very heart of our equity, inclusion, social justice, and protection of our children. Because, our children's rights is enshrined in our Constitution. And one of the rights is right to health. And when you talk of matters of nutrition, we are talking about promoting the rights of children when it comes to health. I want to talk about the mandate of the State Department of Children's Services, because this is a new State Department of Children, a new department that was created sometimes back in April. And the reason for creating this department, His Excellency the President has, with great concern, noted that children account for 46% of the population of Kenya, and therefore giving them the attention that they deserve gives this population a chance to advance their rights that are already enshrined in the Constitution. Previously, the department was under this Labor and Social Protection Ministry. However, to align with the goals of the government's attention to children and matters affecting gender, we noted that the State Department was not rightfully placed. And so the State Department was moved to the Ministry of Gender, Culture, and Children's Services, and that is where it is domiciled right now. I would like to highlight a few mandates of the department when it comes to matters of nutrition and health. The department is mandated to work in liaison with the Ministry of Health to publicize and promote guidelines and policies on child nutrition, and also to establish guidelines for workplace lactation stations, fostering a supportive environment for breastfeeding among employees. That is to say that nutrition is one of the key mandates of the State Department. Looking at the Kenya demographic and Health Survey of 2022, as has been pointed by Dr. Gabi earlier, it shows that the scale of the challenge that children are undergoing when it comes to growth. 18% of children under 5 are stunted. And it was so worrying to hear that in Bomet, the figure was even higher, percentage of 36%, which was quite high than the average percentage of 18%. 10% of these children are underweight and 5% are wasted. We also have a challenge of overweight children. About 3% of these children are overweight. When it comes to breastfeeding, recently you saw a report about 40% of children are not being underfed. These are infants that are under 6 months. Exclusive breastfeeding among mothers has gone down. This could be because these mothers are engaged elsewhere in employment and do not have a chance to breastfeed the children. And that is why you see the mandate of the State Department has been extended to promote workplace lactation. Therefore, with continued breastfeeding, we believe that children under 5 years will their health will improve when it comes to deaths for children below 5 years. And that is why we are having this conversation today. What can we do to invest in children, especially on matters of nutrition for those that are young? We already have a strong foundation when it comes to policy. The Constitution of Kenya under Article 43 and 53 guarantees every child a right to basic nutrition and health, and the rights of persons with disabilities to equal opportunity. We also have the Health Act 2017 that promotes workplace breastfeeding, support, and prohibits discrimination against breastfeeding mothers. We also have the nutrition action plans at national and county levels that outline the strategies for reducing malnutrition through multi-sectoral collaborations. So as the coordinator of children's services, we are also finalizing the Kenya Integrated Early Childhood Development Policy of 2025, which promotes integrated ECD services linking nutrition, stimulation, health, and protection. And I want to welcome all the partners that are here to join the working group. We already had submitted this policy to the cabinet. However, because of current issues on nutrition and health and on early childhood, this policy was returned for fine-tuning through stakeholder engagement. And I want to encourage some of you who have not joined the team. We will reach out to you so that you can give us your views on how we can improve this policy. In the next 1 or 2 weeks, we should be able to conclude updating this policy ready for cabinet approval. We do have the Children's Act, which also strengthens the Kenya Child Protection Framework by ensuring that all child's best interest is paramount. This act provides a clear guideline on safeguarding children from neglect, abuse, and exploitation, creating a safer environment where nutrition and health together will succeed. It also mandates the government and communities to work together to protect children's rights, including their right to health, nutrition, education, and protection from harmful practices. Ladies and gentlemen, nutrition is inseparable from early childhood development. In the first 1,000 days of life from conception to the age where brain develops, we know that this is the time that the brain develops faster than any other time. And as the governor said, if we don't handle this, we will not have children who are productive in the future. So a child who is well nourished in this window is more likely to enter school ready to learn, achieve better educational outcomes, and earn more as an adult. In other words, they will be productive for our economy. Children with disabilities, it is important that we do early detection, proper nutrition and stimulation to unlock their potential. And therefore, this calls for inclusive services for both health and education systems backed by targeted social protection. Now, we are here because of devolution. And devolution gives both the power and the responsibility to lead this transformation. And I'm glad that we are hearing a good report from our two governors. And I believe other counties are also represented to give us the positive story on action taken by the counties. Through our collaborative efforts, the State Department of Children Services will continue to work with the counties to ensure we achieve the goal of transforming children when it comes to nutritional matters. We have collaborated with the World Bank through a program called Niche, and through the technical support of UNICEF that is represented here by Gabi. We have done a lot in terms of nutrition, and this is a program that includes nutritional improvement through cash and health education. And this program has been piloted in 5 counties. We are now extending to 14 counties. And due to limited funding, we are currently not able to reach all the counties. And it is important to note that through the health education, telling the mothers, like I heard Martha's team, the governor is commending the team for continuously engaging through the national, the county assemblies, and also the communities, so that they get to appreciate what nutrition can do to a child. What you give a child when they're young can contribute to their health. So through this program, stunting has improved a lot. Growth in children has improved. And as we sit here, one of the things that I want to say is we want to request our counties and our partners that are here that if we scale this program to our 47 counties, we can achieve a lot and reduce the stunting rate that we are talking about. And we would be glad in a few years' time to come back and report that stunting rate has gone down to probably below 10%. Therefore, we must continue to work hand in hand to adopt national frameworks and into the local action plans, jointly mobilize resources, train the county staff in breastfeeding, counseling, and inclusive service delivery, to share the data platforms such as the Kenya Nutrition Scorecard and County ECD dashboards. We need to scale up baby-friendly community initiatives and also ensure disability-inclusive nutrition, child protection services reach every village in this nation. So as I conclude, I want to say that I urge all the national leaders that are here, the county leaders that are here. I know when it comes to national leaders, we have the Ministry of Health. We are partnering together in this. We have the governors representing all the county governments. We also have the members of the county assemblies that are here. I also want to urge the development partners and the civil society that are here that we commit to 4 priorities. The first one that I urge you to do is let us integrate nutrition, breastfeeding, ECD, child protection, and disability inclusion in all our county plans. I know recently the county has done a very commendable job. The COG announced that all counties have committed to promote breastfeeding programs in the ECD institutions. And that is very commendable. Bwana Governor, pass our appreciation to the COG, because this is the start of improving nutrition among our young learners. However, we need to do more, and that is the request that I'm giving. Let us improve, especially on breastfeeding. You go to a workplace, you hardly find a lactation place for young mothers. Young mothers leave their children almost 8 hours at home. Who breastfeeds these children? We need to have a workplace lactation a lactation for mothers in every workplace. And we can start with our counties. If all counties implemented by putting up a proper place where a mother can come with their baby, leave their baby there, attend to work. After every single few hours, they can come back to lactate. That would promote nutrition among the young learners, the young children. And also it will improve the lactation among mothers in this country. I also want to urge all the leaders and all the participants that are here to allocate sustainable financing, both at county level and at the national level. We note that funding is still a challenge in this country, given the fact that the fiscal space is reducing. We have a huge, almost 60% goes to debt. And so we have very little to share in terms of resources. And therefore, for sustainability, we also want to urge the partners to work with us to ensure we have sustainable financing on nutrition and all aspects of children's services, both at the county and national level. And I was glad to hear the Nandi County governor showing that they have now focused on a budget specifically for nutrition, which was not there before. So let us have a line budget on children, touching on all aspects, and that will ensure we have sustainable financing. And if we do invest in that, we will save a lot in the future, especially on health interventions. I would also like to urge you to scale up breastfeeding, scale up ECD and child protection support services to be universally accessible. We know that our focus currently is on vulnerable children, and targeting vulnerable children is a continuous exercise. But what if we make it mandatory that all children are equal? As given in our constitution, all of them have a right, that we do not separate, this is a child who is this and this. If we make it mandatory, we will deal with the issue of stunting. We will handle all these problems together. So if we make it universal, use a fund that can address matters of nutrition and target our resources towards making our services to children as universal. We'll be able to deal with nutrition challenges and all matters on child protection. The last one that I would like to urge us is the issue of use of data. I was glad that, again, one county showed us how they're using data to make laws, policies, and address the challenges. So if we share data and use it as the evidence to target where we should put our resources, then that will also help us to be focused. And as a government, that is one area that we are working on, to do continuous surveys, to use the data and target our resources according to where areas that are more pressing, dealing with children matters. So investing in nutrition and early childhood is not charity. It is the smartest economic investment Kenya can make. And you will realize that a lot of costs will go to handling children issues. We are talking of immunization costs. Children suffering from, let's say, diarrhea, they have to go to hospital. So we have to allocate resources for treatment. Yeah, so therefore, it is something we need to be smart about. We are investing in our future. And I want to invite all of you in this room, especially our development partners, to help us make this a reality and scale up nutrition programs in Kenya. You are most welcome to work with my office, because we believe a child who is well fed will be stimulated in the first 1,000 days and will grow up to be a healthy and productive adult for our Kenyan economy. Let us make this commitment as we leave Homa Bay to scale up the interventions and ensure our children are nourished. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
So we want to move to the next agenda. Our key speaker will join us later. And therefore, I want to hand it over to our MC so that we can move to the next presentation.
Now, I just have a very, very serious question to ask all of us. How many enjoyed their mama's milk for 2 years? 2 years, I can see, wow. 2 years, 2 years, 3 years, 3 years. Oh, 3 years, we have 3 years. Hey, Edgar, 3 years. so you're still enjoying 3 years. How many, Daktari? More than 3. How many? Just tell us. 5 years? 3.5? Okay. I thought 5. What is your name, sir? Shake my hand. Samuel. Hey, 5 years. Inaonekana kwa uso. Congratulations. Mpeni makofi. I think in this generation, we need to encourage the young mothers, isn't it? We need to encourage them so that by the time they're finding the food in the school, they already have a good basis. There's another question I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, yes. You're going to like this one. So, how many of you had a meal in the morning? These are blessed people. Hallelujah. At the back there, yes, you had a meal. So just turn to your neighbor. Tell them what you had. Don't brag. Don't brag. Just whisper. Whisper. If you don't have a neighbor, it is okay. Governor, asante sana kwa kuja. I'm just curious, what did you have for breakfast? We are just telling each other what we had in boosting our nutrition. Yes. I had watermelon. Yeah. What did you have? Chai, wonderful. Yourself? Eggs. Protein, eh? Very good. Edgar, I won't ask you. Okay, I want us to transition to the next. We're going ahead with the panels, right? So please stand. I know you have been enjoying the red carpet. Hallelujah. You've been enjoying the seats. Please stand. Please stand. I want you to be ready for the panel as they prepare and organize themselves. I want you to hold your waist. Just hold your waist. It is yours. It belongs to you. Yeah? Just hold your waist. Don't hold the neighbor's waist, please. Your own waist. Your own God-given waist. Are you holding it? Iko salama? I want us to spell the word nutrition. Now, my work will be very important and very key. I'll just be checking who is not utilizing their school fees in terms of spelling the word nutrition. Are you ready? For your information, because today we have different types of fonts, we are using caps. Usiogope, give me the N. Give me the N. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know, some of you write with the handwriting like this. No, we just want it straight. Sawa. Give me the U. U. Give me the, which is the other one? T? T? You're sure? Let's go. Give me the T. The next one? You're sure? I spell it. No, some of you have to move, surely. Just move. The governor is moving. Yeah? The other one is what? New? I tell. Akia nani? Yeah? The last one was I. So right now is I. Twende. And you know, there's Nutrition International there. So just in case, the next one is, give me the T. Give me the I. Don't put the dot. We are spelling in cap. Give me the O. Give me a good O. Thank you. And then the N. Wonderful, wonderful. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. You may have your seats. Thank you very much. I'd like Madam Veronica to... she has a good presentation that I want us to learn from. Of course, she has some good figures and other wonderful things which are on the plate. So I want us to welcome her back. Na makofi ya Nyayo. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Makofi. Makofi. Asante.
Thank you, MC. Could I have the presentation? But my work is very easy because the previous speakers have actually spoken to some of the information or data that I was to share with you. We said good nutrition is a pillar or is the foundation for health, productivity, and economic prosperity. If we don't get it right, we are not going to grow as a country. We are saying it's a smart investment. For any dollar that is invested in nutrition, it yields $22. For those wanya biashara, if you do that math, really, that's why at the county level, we have to invest in returns. But we are saying it's also a human right. It is embedded in our constitution, the right to nutrition. So we are called upon to ensure that the citizen enjoy those rights. And also, it is also the driver of our Vision 2030. High quality of life cannot be achieved without nutrition. And also in terms of economic development, without nutrition, we will not get it right. Also for the Sustainable Development Goals and African Union Agenda 2063. But most importantly, currently we are talking about SHA, about the health cost. If we invested well in nutrition, health cost will go down. Then we move SHA to do very serious illnesses and we can be able to specialize and have now a specialist in those chronic illnesses that cannot be prevented. Madam PS and also the governors said a policy. I think we have sufficient policies. So we just need to transition the policies to action. You can see from the Constitution, Vision 2030, National Food and Nutrition Security, and the Kenya Health Policy. So where is the rain beating us? Implementation. And that's why you're having this dialogue, so that we can dialogue with the counties on how we are going to scale up implementation. I will not deal with that. It's the threats in malnutrition. The governors were able to talk to it from 2014, but the graphs is showing from 1993. You can see the top green bar is stunting, the chronic malnutrition. But you can see we have been improving. But why should 18 children in 100 be stunted in a country like ours? That's very bad in terms of meaning that we are not investing in our children. But it's not just about children. On this bar graph, the second bar, what is circled in red, you can see that even from the back. We are looking at 43% of our adolescent boys are too thin. Where are these adolescent boys? Most probably in boarding school. What are they eating? I think we have, more than almost close to half of the boys. We need to do something, because it means even in terms of their strength, whether from the physical, from the reproductive, it will be affected. Then we also have the other, you can see the other circle among the adults. Those are women. Women, where are we? Imagine nearly half of us, 45% of women, we are overweight and obese. What that means, that 45% are at high risk of getting non-communicable diseases. Yet another burden in the healthcare. We can prevent it through good nutrition. And of course, micronutrient deficiency, what we call hidden hunger. Even each one of us here, if we were to do a nutrition assessment to look at our micronutrient, we could see that majority of us, especially the working class, we are having an increase of people suffering from vitamin D deficiency. Tumekaa kwa ofisi ndani sana without even the sunlight, and that's something about lifestyle that we need to change. That slide is looking at the inequality, the equity and inclusion gaps. We are saying, yes, the national preference of stunting is 18%, but we have in counties like Kilifi with 37%. Counties like Kisumu, Garissa at 9%, and the others in between. That's regional disparity, and we need to ensure that every child has the right to quality life. So what happens if we don't take action, especially in what was the governor said about the 1,000 days, the windows of opportunity? What that means is that you may see that probably you're just looking at the physical, height of a child, but cognitively, that child who is undernourished is also being affected. And that's why you are seeing in this picture on showing the brain, it's showing the brain development. A well-nourished child has more brain cells, meaning they are intelligent. But when they are undernourished, it means that their cognitive function is also diminished. So that's what we are doing if we don't take action to ensure that our children receive good nutrition. The economic losses in terms of child undernutrition is really huge. With the National Treasury, we did the cost of hunger in Africa, Kenya study in 2019. And what we realized is that as a country, we are losing 373.9 billion shillings almost 7% of our gross domestic product due to child undernutrition. And these costs are related to health, they are related to education, and also they are related to productivity. At that time, we were informed that 374 billion was more than the allocation that the 47 counties got that year. Imagine what a loss. If you translate it to number of roads that we are losing because of child undernutrition, something that is preventable, then we need to take action now. Now, we said when you invest in nutrition, it gives very high returns. You can see the bar graphs there. We are talking about if we invest in nutrition, it would increase our economic productivity to 59.2 billion shillings. You can see you are investing 9.8 because that's what in the first bullet it's costing to scale up those 11 key nutrition specific, but then you get in return 59.2. Wale walifanya mahesabu, what proportion is that? Really a smart investment. Let me skip the progress because you'll be able to get it in the panel discussion. And quickly go to the gap in nutrition programming. We are talking about limited coverage. One of the biggest challenges, nutrition, we rely so much on external funding. And of course, external funding comes with coordination. And the coordination mostly is that the external funding, we target arid and semi-arid counties, the 23 counties. So the 24 counties are left with very limited coverage. We are also looking at underserved communities, those with chronic or special dietary needs, they are also left out. And also another one is inadequate focus on disease-related malnutrition in both community and clinical setting. Yeah, we know that good nutrition, even in inpatient, improves treatment outcome. And what that means that the patient will use less money when they are nourished. We take care of the nutrition in the health facility. They will get better treatment outcome, less shorter stay in the hospital, and therefore quite a saving in terms of healthcare cost. Yes, I talked. Our biggest challenge, we rely so much on the donor funding. In March this year, when US froze most of the fund, we are really, really affected. What that means is that if we don't increase domestic funding, we are likely to lose the gains. You know, the gains we talked about, reducing stunting from 26% to 18%. We have to improve domestic funding, and that's why we are here to discuss how then, what other opportunities are there for financing nutrition. So I will just join the other speakers. The call of action is that at the county level, we need to increase the domestic funding for nutrition, also at the national level. We also have to ensure that even for the counties that have allocated nutrition money, then it is ring-fenced. You heard the governor saying, you know, nutrition is a software. Wananchi want the hardware. They want the roads, but you'll not see there. So there's a risk that even nutrition funding can be reallocated to roads, to health facility. And that we are talking about ring fencing. Then we are saying we need to promote innovative financing mechanism, like what the two governors presented in terms of match funding. You put a shilling as government, a partner puts a shilling. That's what another, including even the other private-public partnership. We have so many corporate. They have corporate social responsibility. How do we tap on that? And if we do that, then we can be able to sustain the gains that we have achieved in nutrition. And because we are saying by 2030, when our vision 2030 come to an end, when the sustainable development come to an end, the government commitment is that we should have eliminated all forms of malnutrition. Is it doable? I can see a silent yes. I need a big yes. We can do it. Together we can do it. I want to finally to acknowledge the partners who have supported, especially in putting this event together. UNICEF, Nutrition International, WFP, GAIN, CARE, Kenya Red Cross, Scaling Up Nutrition Civil Society, Head and Care Action Against Heart Concern Worldwide, IRC, and of course the county, the host county. Unfortunately, we had the deputy governor of the host county, but he walked out. But I know we are welcome to discuss this important dialogue. Thank you very much, and let's have a great listening.
We are going to make this very short and sweet because we have a very short time left. We've been asked to leave this room slightly early because we have a great session with some national leaders coming in the next few minutes that they want you all to attend. So I would like to ask the panel to quickly come up. Charlotte is going to help me with this session. Charlotte, please come up. She has some beautiful cards. We have to manage time very quickly. She will show them up. And my panel consists of very brilliant, amazing people who have been nutrition champions for a long time. Dr. Kizito, please come up. Dr. Kizito Wangalwa is a director in the COG. He also chairs the committees for the different departments in the COG. Dr. Lynette Dinga, Head of Nutrition at World Food Program, please come up. Dr. Lynette is also a leading voice in advancing nutrition through climate smart and resilient food systems. My next panelist is an amazing lady that we've worked with on nutrition policy for a long time. Madam Cecily, please. Cecile Matu works at UNICEF and is in charge of governance and systems. And she's going to speak a lot about their broad support to nutrition. And my final panelist is Madam Joy Karimi Kiruntimi, the Deputy Director in charge of programs at Nutrition International, a great champion of nutrition at county level, and she has also been championing domestic resource mobilization in this capacity. Besides this panel, I also have a group of county people who will be joining us, and please feel free to comment. We do not want to make this a lecture. We would like this to be interactive as possible. I am going to invite also a few county people who will be giving some flesh to this conversation. Dr. Hilary Kagwa is here from Kiambu County. We have Dr. Mwatha from Makueni County. Please be on standby. I have Priscilla Chebet Mungo from West Pokot, and I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Mary Anyenda, Vihiga County, Chief Officer for Health, Dr. Frederick Kamundia Mbugwa. You will also be enriching this conversation, CC Muranga County, Dr. Mbaru James, Director Muranga, Dr. Joyce Mutua from Makueni County, CC Health, Dr. Alex Leshinka Kajiado, one of the counties that is implementing a nutrition policy. So without further ado, and in the interest of time, as you speak, panelists, please listen and look at Charlotte because she will be showing you some very nice gestures as we proceed with this conversation. The framing has been done. You have heard the statistics. Kenya is facing the triple burden of malnutrition. We have 42% of adolescent boys very thin, but we have over 40% of our mothers overweight. And then we have 18% of our children stunted and undernourished. What kind of situation is this? Chakula bora ama bora chakula? Because where we are headed, we are going to lose the return on investments in nutrition. And we are saying for every dollar invested in nutrition, for every shilling invested in nutrition, we have 2,200 shillings in return. That is the reason why we are having this conversation today. And I will start with you, Cecily, because you have been in this for a long time, championing nutrition for a long time. And considering the magnitude of the problem and the complexity of the problem we are talking about, what are some of the priority strategies that have been used to address malnutrition in Kenya? Make your answer very short and sweet so that they can also enjoy consuming it. Go, Cecily.
Before I get into exactly what we are doing as a country to address the challenges of malnutrition, I would want us to just get into the space where we are clear on what the causes or key determinants of malnutrition are. And that way then you can appreciate why when we do what we do, what are we trying to address? So one of the key determinants is we have what we call the immediate determinants or the causes. And under this, we basically look at what diets are we feeding our children and women on, and actually our men, because if they don't get zinc, then clearly things are going to go astray. Then the other key area that we look at is what we call the underlying determinants or the causes. Here, are we having children being fed on appropriate foods for their age and also for, if it is the adults, for the jobs that they do? Are we also having good practices being done for our children? And when I say good practices, it means, are we breastfeeding our children as we ought to for the first 2 years? I think one speaker, our MC, asked how many were breastfed for 2 years, and there was very few numbers in the room. So we need to be in a space where that is being done very well. Then the final pillar is around the enabling determinants. So under this pillar, we ask ourselves, are we planning for? Are we budgeting for? Are we coordinating as we need to? Because we need to all work together to address this big elephant in the room of malnutrition. And beyond that, we also need to ask ourselves, are we having adequate resources being allocated to nutrition? And this goes not just for the financial bit, it is also for the human resource. And I was glad when I think it's the governor for Bomet was speaking, and he said that he has seen an increment. Nandi. Yes. So in terms of what we are doing to address those challenges, one is improving the delivery of high-impact nutrition interventions. Very important, because for our children not to be vitamin A deficient, then they need to receive vitamin A. For our mothers not to suffer from iron deficiency anemia, they need to receive iron folic acid or even eat foods that are rich in iron. The other thing we are also doing as a country is promoting the consumption of good diets. We are also promoting multi-sectoral engagement and coordination. And in this, we have been working closely with counties to establish what we call MSPs, counties like Busia, counties like Baringo, Isiolo, West Pokot, to name just but a few, to just ensure that all sectors are coming together in a coordinated way. I think I'll stop at that and come back when I have a chance to. I'm told my time is up. Thank you.
I will go to you, Terry Watiri. How is nutrition integrated within existing national and county level strategic plans? Do you see any gaps? How can they be addressed? How do you help this person who has a little omena and must measure with this ugali financially to be able to get a better diet? Over to you, Terry.
I think the previous speakers have mentioned the issue of planning when it comes to nutrition matters in the country. Very beautifully, we see it at the very beginning in the Vision 2030 as our development, blueprint for the country, where we want to see the country, going to the middle income country at some point. Now, for For us to implement the Vision 2030, we normally will have what we call the medium-term plans. And these medium-term plans have been in existence, and now we are in the fourth one, where we beautifully build the issue of nutrition in that. And remember, this is where we also capture our beta agenda on matters nutrition. So we have something called the country high impact interventions, especially for nutrition. So at the same time, we have what we call the policy, the health policy 2014-2030. Again, it talks about matters nutrition. Kenya Health Sector Strategic Plan talks about nutrition. The issue of counties also, we have the CIDPs. When it comes to nutrition specific, we have the Kenya Nutrition Action Plan. We have the County Nutrition Action Plan. So we are not limited when it comes to planning matters nutrition. Our problem now comes when it comes to the implementation. We are not able to implement if we don't have finances. The government is not financing enough when it comes to nutrition, and this has been mentioned, high dependence on our partners, which is a good thing, but again, the country ought to support, child nutrition and all that. So we are not really short of our plans. Another thing is that the issue of the multi-sectoral coordination is a bit weak, and we need to see how we can do that when it comes to nutrition. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, for highlighting those issues. Honorable Kizito, and I'm not calling him honorable for the sake of using the term honorable. We are honored to have you. He is in charge of committees and programs at the COG for all 47 counties, and he has been very instrumental in translating plans to actions at county level, because that is where implementation happens. But before I go to Honorable Kizito, allow me to announce the presence of Dr. Matendechero from the Ministry of Health. He is representing the PS Health. So, Honorable Kizito, my question to you is, to what extent have counties contextualized, prioritized nutrition in their strategic planning documents?
The counties have contextualized in their CIDPs. Many counties already have this contextualized in the county nutrition action plans. But as mentioned earlier, is that enough? And from where I sit supporting the governors in their discussions, that is not enough. Why I say so is this. Governor Barchok here and the other governors will affirm that when we have conversations on health, more than 90% of the time is on issues of cancer, NESP, MES, medicine, strikes on the healthcare, in the healthcare sector. I have not asked the governors to have a conversation on nutrition. If I'm wrong, governor is here, he'll confirm. As the Council of Governors, we have never. Have we had a discussion with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of health on matters nutrition? We haven't. That's a huge gap. Because if the leadership is not taking lead, who is responsible for giving direction? So we may have those synapses there. But the top leadership needs to drive the agenda. And we would need to fast track, as we sit, a dedicated conversation between the Cabinet Secretary in charge of health, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Children's Affairs, and the Council of Governors on matters nutrition. I want to stop there.
We need to get onto that dialogue table and speak about nutrition at COG level. You have challenged us. We take that on. And the next conversation at the COG will be on nutrition. And in that same vein, Dr. Lynette, what partnership and collaboration opportunities exist for nutrition and how have they been leveraged?
Nutrition is a very important development agenda, and this is at the core of the Kenya Food and Nutrition Security Policy that calls on us to work across sectors. That is not only health, but also agriculture, education, and social protection, to see how we can contribute collectively to address holistically the issues of malnutrition. So how we have leveraged on this, and already Cecily had spoken about it, about the multi-sector platforms, but importantly also as a country, we have the Scaling Up Nutrition movement. And this movement brings together partners across, where we have partnerships with government. We also have development partners. We have the business network, the civil society. So one important probably example of result that I can share is that through the business network, we have seen great progress where we have over 100 small and medium-sized enterprises contributing to improving the food environment by making sure that we have safe and nutritious foods within our markets and environment. So this is an important platform that we have leveraged on. Additionally, we have other platforms that I can speak about, such as the Kenya National School Meals Coalition. And this is a build-up from the UN Food System Summit of 2021. And importantly, such coalition bring together different sectors to help us advance the nutrition agenda and ensure that we have school meals that are nutritious and can cover our children. And, you know, against the ambitious goal, which was even a commitment by the president, that we are aiming to scale up to reach 10 million school children. So these are part of platforms that we have leveraged on to advance the nutrition agenda.
All these things cannot happen without money and without financing. And that is the reason we are having this discussion today. Given the current nutrition financing landscape, Joy, you have been championing domestic resource mobilization for the past 3 years. We have moved from a baseline of 42 million to 800 million. This is subject to the work that you have championed at Nutrition International. What innovative mechanisms can be implemented to ensure adequate financing at all levels?
Yeah, thank you, Mother, for that. I'm glad to participate and share our experience at Nutrition International. And I can't overemphasize the need of financing in implementing nutrition activities. There are a few steps to that, as you heard from the testimonies from the governors. There's a lot of advocacy involved, because for you to be able to convince the political team that they need to invest in nutrition, you need to tell them why. And I think we've done a lot of advocacy with MCAs for us to be able to convince them they need actually to invest in nutrition. And we've seen a lot of transparency and accountability through the process, because we are using government systems. We are not using any parallel system. They are able to do their own accountability. They are able to use their own procurement processes. We ensure that the funds is put in the special purpose account, whereby the county is able to put in their money and we match. So the county has to put in money first, and then we match what they have put in. So if Bomet put in 10 million, we match 10 million. But they still have to keep in the baseline that they have been supporting for nutrition.
Thank you, Joy. And if you want to hear more about that, the counties are here. You can speak with Bomet, Kajiado, Muranga, Makueni, Nandi. They are all here. Cecil, just to add on innovative nutrition financing, and I know UNICEF is doing some work on the Child Nutrition Fund, the focus on reduced donor financing in Kenya, public-private partnerships, corporate social responsibility. Just a quick commentary on some of the innovative financing mechanisms that we are looking at for nutrition.
UNICEF, we have what we are calling the Child Nutrition Fund, which basically is a financing modality that allows for counties or national level government to pool funds towards, for example, nutrition supplies. And what that then what happens under that mechanism is if a county puts 10 million, then we match that at exactly 10 million and also facilitate to have the commodities availed or procured. That is one key area. We also have a program window under this Child Nutrition Fund where we can co-create innovative programs with the counties to see how we address the challenge of malnutrition. What we can highlight now is that we are at the stage of holding deeper discussions with counties on this, and we will soon be calling upon all the 47 counties to better share more information on this so we can tap into this resource. And 1 minute left, I would also want to highlight as another key innovation that we are doing, not directly under financing, Martha and colleagues, is when it comes to the issue of ensuring that children are getting adequate diets, we have what we call the Child Food Poverty Measure, which is basically a measure of how many food groups are children eating in a day. The sad news is that in Kenya, only 37% or 36% of our children are accessing 3 food groups and above, meaning that 63% of our children are actually experiencing child food poverty, which is really a pity considering that we have counties that can really produce good food under this. So to address that gap, within UNICEF, we are promoting what we are calling the Fast Foods Africa initiative, which is one of the efforts to ensure that we are strengthening the food systems for children, working with the private sector to ensure that they're producing readily available and affordable nutritious foods for our children. Yes, let me stop at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecile. I just want a quick comment from Terry on insured financing for nutrition.
We see an entrance of 3 funds, the PHC, the SHIF, and the Emergency and Chronic Fund. We realized that as part of the PHC fund, unfortunately, when the proposals and costings were undergoing, nutrition issues were not taken into account. But this is one area that we can see how we can leverage, especially now that the president, that the CS actually gazetted the benefit package and tariff advisory panel. We can see how we can lobby this panel for the inclusion of such interventions within the PHC fund. And the government has been increasing a lot of money around this fund. Now we are standing at around 13.1 billion from around 4 billion last financial year. But also, importantly, is the Social Health Insurance Fund. We can also see how we can leverage on that, especially when it comes to the treatment of Sam and Mom at that level of our facilities. So again, it's just a matter of us seeing how we can lobby this panel for the inclusion of such within the benefit package.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Terry. We want to have very quick commentary from our counties that have been implementing various programs. But before I go there, allow me to ask any of my panelists for one burning statement, if you have.
When it comes to how we can work better together. And I think the best way is how we are able to speak to each other. How are we conversing when it comes to issues of investments across sectors so that we can map out the investments and the interventions we need to make. And then I like what our governor from Nandi mentioned about the private sector. I think that's an area that we really need to leverage on to make sure that we are able to maximize on the investments that are diverse, as we've mentioned about the challenges of financing. But lastly, I want us to know that communities have solutions and they have to be part of the solutions and invest in those solutions. So I think it's up to us to collectively see communities as contributing to solutions, especially now that we have a very strong community health strategy. So that's a platform that we can leverage on and look at what investments can we pull in from the community to drive the agenda for ownership and advancement of the initiatives we are looking at. Thank you.
We are making little baby steps in terms of improving the nutrition financing space. When we did the analysis earlier, it was 0.8% of national level budget being allocated to nutrition. Upcoming evidence that will be shared at a side event tomorrow by UNICEF, together with Kipra, I think we'll be able to see improvement. But at county level, as our deputy rep mentioned, Gabi, we have seen an improvement from what was before at 3% in some of the counties, others as high as 4%, which is really encouraging. So I think to really just encourage all of us here, we are making baby steps. Let's continue pushing with the coordination. Let's continue pushing with evidence generation. Let's push with the nutrition financial tracking exercise or efforts that we are doing. And for sure, nutrition will go places. Thank you.
We'll leverage on the presence of the Council of Governors. Like Governor Barchok did indicate, 2 weeks ago, we were in a retreat to consider a model school feeding policy for early childhood development. We'll leverage on that. Right now, we are also trying to develop a model early childhood development policy for a county government. What does it look like? And finally, we are also reviewing the entire landscape of the policies that county governments have on matters concerning children. Where are they scattered and what do they say? So that comprehensively we can provide guidance to the county governments to include every aspect of duty that they need to bear in terms of responding to matters of children. So we'll leverage on what counties have already done to provide additional guidance through preparation of a model framework, which they can use to revise the instruments that they have, and also for those that have not done, then to develop their own specific instruments to be able to consider matters of children that also include matters of nutrition. I thank you.
Now we are going to go to very first to commentaries from counties, and Charlotte will help me with this.
Thank you for the wonderful discussions from our plenary. And it's very clear that for us to proceed in terms of nutrition, one, we have to do development differently. And one, it's through match funding. So let's hear just an experience from Makueni County. You did have a match funding with Nutrition International, whereby you tabled 36 million and got a co-investment grant at 30 million. So tell us, what were the enablers when it came to the county funds sticking beyond the project cycles for nutrition?
Thank you. For Vihiga, we are leveraging on social protection programs. And in our case, we have Otichilo Care, that is Boresha Afya ya Mama na Mtoto. This is a program where we give incentives to our mothers, 1,000 shillings at the 4th ANC. And during birth, we not only give you 1,000, but we also add a mama pack. And we are doing this to try and come out of over-reliance on partners, because at one time, when the partners will not be there, we shall be able as a county to continue supporting nutrition programs. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think for Makueni, 2 key areas to look into, and for sustainability, community engagement, because we're very strong in public participation. So when community understands what their basic needs are, it becomes easy. Then the high level advocacy, so that from the governor and to nutrition, Ramka plus N champion, who is the first lady, them understanding that, and the county assembly, the health committee, then in terms of budget allocation, it actually makes more economical sense in return of investment that you're doing within the county. Thank you.
For Muranga, I would say that information triggers action. And so it's important to inform the political leadership. And we must be in the physical space. So we need policy. For nutrition to sail through in the county, we need to ring-fence nutrition financing by having a multi-sectoral policy and ensuring that money is available, budgeted intentionally for nutrition? Thank you.
The resilience of nutrition outcomes is as strong as the systems that delivers them. So it starts from planning, the financing, the accountability. And as the governor from Nandi County said, we need to politicize nutrition because this goes beyond what we are able to do within short projects. It goes beyond leadership cycle and every budget cycle. Afya yetu? Afya yetu? And today I'm going to add something on systems. In Swahili, mifumo yetu, uwekezaji wetu. Our systems are our investment. And if we invest in our systems, we will be able to feed the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte. And thank you very much, our panelists. I'm going to do a rapid fire summary of what has been spoken this morning. But I would like to give our participants 1 minute. If you have a burning thing to add, please. Okay, right next to you, Edgar.
Thank you, panelists from the county and the others who were there earlier. What I'm getting, you are getting one thing from the left hand and you put in the right hand. You have the same budget series. So there is some section you are taking money out to give another section. I happen to participate in the budget process in my state department. I'm Migosi from the State One to Children Services. Governor Sang said something very important. The people, economists and the statistician, can we analyze some of these products which affect the hereditary nutrition of children so that we get a certain percentage from there, so that we know there is some money which is extra. When the president wanted to bring in SHA, he said we pay 2.7%. So he was not using the previous rate to give the services. I believe that if we look at that level, we will have enough resources to look at this. So my point is, let us not go to get from left to the right hand, but let us look creative new sources of money to support this main agenda.
Thank you.
When you look at, especially the government, the decisions and the policy is based on the evidence-based researches and that. When you look at the repositories internationally and even locally, we have millions of researches, recommendations, findings on nutrition and even other aspects. Currently, international community is depending on those African repositories, especially on the sub-Saharan countries, to come up with policies, some more recommendations and the rest. As a Kenya, as a country, what are we doing to ensure that the findings and the recommendations from our allied communities, the universities and the rest, how are we making use of it? Because this is where we are not making use of the same. Also, the second question, very critical, on the repetition. I've seen some information in the booklet given that some 17% of learners are more likely to repeat due to malnutrition. Currently in Kenya, we don't have repetition policy. It is phased out, but it is still coming up. It's a red flag. What are we doing as a country to ensure that the transition of our learners is smooth and seamless? Thank you.
I just have an opinion on the whole of this discussion. It has been a very good discussion. However, I'm looking at how are we using the various institutions of higher learning up to and including even the vocational training centers that have trained personnel to be able to impart knowledge up to the grassroots. Because listening to all of us, I'm seeing that we are talking about availability of nutrition, but have we ever sat down to think about, is this availability translating to bioavailability? Thank you.
Thank you so much, our panelists. They are still here. You can continue to engage with them. I apologize that in the interest of time, we have to stop here. And I will give a very rapid fire of the conversations that we've had since morning. 10-point agenda. If you're writing a report back to the office, please list them because they will help you for this session. The first one is political commitment. We heard from Governor Barchok, we heard from Governor Sang, the importance of political commitment in addressing the challenges in nutrition. We heard from Honorable Kizito, the importance of taking this to the COG at the right dialogue table. We heard from partnerships from Dr. Lynette around how we foster partnerships between the private sector, civil society, and the communities that we work with. Point number 2, our programs. How do we connect policies to programs? How do we implement the policies that we have? Madam Veronica mentioned this. How do we ensure that our diets are localized and produced? How do we address the tensions between food security and nutrition? Because we have heard from Bomet and Nandi County that nutrition does not automatically translate to be good, even when we have food security. And so we need to unpack that a little bit. We've heard from CS Karen about breastfeeding, the first immunization the child gets. We've heard from Vihiga, the father-to-father support groups. We've heard the story of the egg and why we sell eggs to buy milk. We've heard from Kiambu about localization and community engagement. And we've had a series of programs that we can leverage on, that we can learn from to continue under the package of programs. The fourth one is policy. We've heard from Terry about the fourth medium-term plan and how it needs to include nutrition, how we use the KNAPs and CNAPs to ensure that nutrition is included in our CIDPs at the county level. We've heard about partnerships. We've heard about the reducing donor space and the fact that we need to allocate domestic resources from JOY. We've heard about capacities at county level. The need to speak to our members of county assembly because that is where budget conversations happen. We've heard about the last commenter on capacities for nutrition, the need to link with our institutions, the ASAL counties and some of the suggestions that need to happen, the community groups like the father-to-father support groups, leveraging from national flagship programs such as the UHC, the World Development Fund, the Child Nutrition Fund, matching funding arrangements from different counties. We've heard about coordination and the fact that nutrition is invisible but multi-sectoral, and the fact that different players, different partners, different sectors, health, agriculture, social protection, community development, and gender need to work together for nutrition. We've heard about innovative funding mechanisms, the use of data to inform our decisions, the data that Madam Veronica presented at the beginning, localization, ownership, and the fact that context matters. So thank you very much, audience. Thank you, panelists. Please feel free to step back. And thank you very much for joining this panel.
We are honored to have Dr. Sultani Matedechelo. He normally tells me my tongue is very fast. So, and the name is like Dr. Sultani is the Deputy Director General in the State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards, where nutrition is anchored in that State Department. And he's here to represent Madam Mary Muthoni. And pole sana kwa safari. I know you had to travel at night and he has just arrived actually. So karibu sana to give you a keynote address.
Thank you very much, Veronica, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think given the circumstances, I will be very, very brief and mainly just to do three things. Number one is to just bring the greetings of our Principal Secretary, who had really wanted to be here, because I can actually just tell you, and I hope people are not listening out there, that our Principal Secretary, nutrition is a very important element to her. It lies very deep inside her heart. In fact, sometimes we feel a bit jealous because we usually see that she's really keen on making sure that nutrition works. So she really wanted to be here. And that's why she told me, make sure you go and deliver my greetings as well as my apologies, because she just had to leave abruptly yesterday to another meeting. Madam PS, you know how busy your schedules are, and they keep on changing. But more importantly, I was listening as the moderator of the panel was wrapping up. And I was also looking at the points that our PS has wanted to share with you. And it is very amazing that most of them are just the same. So I think generally the issues at hand are very similar, and it means that we have a common purpose. So I'll just quickly run through some of the points that she really wanted to put across in point form so that we can be able to conclude quickly. And number one, she wanted us to be able to recognize that nutrition is the foundation of a healthy and wealthy nation. Without proper nourishment, our dreams of industrialization, innovation, and prosperity, and all those other flowery things that we talk about day in, day out, will just remain dreams. It is also important to note that the theme of this event, Invest in Nutrition for Economic Transformation, aligns very well with the national aspiration of a Kenya where every citizen from the first 1,000 days of life is equipped to reach their full potential physically, mentally, and economically. We must face the truth, because we cannot talk about economic growth the way we keep on trying to talk about it when our children are stunted, our mothers are anemic, and our people are increasingly affected by preventable diet-related diseases. And when we look at the statistics, they are very clear, because the KDHS of 2022 informed us that 18% of our children under 5 are stunted. 45% of women of reproductive age are overweight or obese, and 43% of adolescent boys are thin. Is there something like that in nutrition? They are thin. Yeah, we are thin. Yeah. The other thing is that this is compounded by micronutrient deficiencies. We are talking about iron, zinc, iodine, vitamin A, and folate, which weaken our immunity, reduce productivity, and increase healthcare costs. The other point is that at the same time, diet-related non-communicable diseases now account for 39% of all deaths and over 50% of hospital admissions in Kenya. And generally, this is the picture even in the whole of Africa. We were having this discussion last week where we were discussing about the priorities of the continent at the Africa Union. And after very long discussions around pandemic preparedness and response, climate change for health, and antimicrobial resistance, people started saying, but where are these nutrition-related non-communicable diseases? And the whole topic changed, because we now had to reprioritize and give priority to this. The economic cost is staggering. Kenya loses upwards of 373 billion shillings annually. And I think I really want to laud the participation of our top political leadership in this conversation, because now it shows that we are moving towards owning the realization that nutrition is key to economic development. I heard when our directors for health were speaking, and it was very encouraging to see that now we are putting in actual resources towards nutrition. Kenya the human capital index stands at 0.55. This means that a child born today will only achieve 55% of their productivity potential. 55%. So we are struggling, but at the end of the day, we will not be able to achieve the maximum potential because of nutrition issues. So I think these are wake-up calls that we really have to look at so that we can be able to move forward. So there is a call to action here, and I think it has come out very clearly when we were wrapping up. And it is important for us generally to look at it in form of the national government, the county government, because we know that we have two levels of government which are working together to deliver as government. So both national and county levels of government, our legislators, our partners should invest in nutrition. Invest, not spend on nutrition. Invest in nutrition not as charity, but as nation building. Because we cannot achieve nation building without investing in nutrition. A nourished child is a productive worker, innovator, and leader tomorrow. Let us leave this conference with a shared resolve. When we nourish our people, we nourish our economy. When we invest in nutrition, we invest in justice, equity, and prosperity. This is how we will build the Kenya we dream of, a healthy nation, a wealthy nation, and a great nation. Asanteni sana. I think at this juncture, then I will take this opportunity to actually declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much. Asante.